You're looking for a massage table that actually makes your day-to-day work smoother, not just a piece of furniture that looks good on a brochure. You want something you can trust to lift without jerking, stay steady while you're positioning a client, and that won't cost you a fortune in repairs. That hesitation wondering whether the price tag really covers durability, ease of use, and a bit of peace of mind is what most of us feel before we click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the kind of environment where a lift assist table lives. In a small home studio, you're juggling a few pieces of equipment, a limited floor plan, and probably a schedule that runs back-to-back. In a larger spa, you have multiple treatment rooms, a handful of therapists, and a higher volume of clients. What both settings need is a table that can be adjusted quickly and safely, because every minute you spend wrestling with a manual crank is a minute you're not treating someone. That's where the Saloniture Professional Electric Lift Massage Table tries to stake its claim. The biggest practical advantage is the hands-free electric lift. The motor raises and lowers the backrest with the push of a button, and it does so at a pace that feels smooth, not the sudden snap you sometimes get from cheaper mechanisms. In my own experience setting up a mobile massage service, I found that being able to press a foot pedal or a handheld switch while already positioned at the table cuts down on awkward bending. It also means you can keep a client's privacy intact. You don't have to turn your back to adjust the height, which can feel more professional. Comfort is another area where the design tries to earn points. The table comes with an adjustable headrest, a face cradle, and a bolster that you can slide into place depending on the treatment. I've used it for a couple of deep tissue sessions where the client needed the face cradle angled upward for neck work, and the adjustments were intuitive, just a few clicks, and the pieces lock firmly. The padding itself feels firm enough to support a 250-pound client without sagging, yet gives enough give for a relaxing experience. If you're the type who prefers a very plush, cloud-like surface, you might add a thin overlay, but for most therapeutic work, the built-in cushioning hits the sweet spot. Now, no product is perfect, and this table has a few trade-offs you'll want to weigh. The motor, while reliable in most scenarios, draws a fair amount of power. In a setup where you're running on a generator or an older building circuit, you might notice the lights dimming a fraction when you engage the lift. It's not a safety hazard, but it does mean you should have a dedicated outlet or a surge protector on hand. Also, the table's footprint is on the larger side. At about 6 feet long and 3 feet wide, it will dominate a small treatment room. If you're operating out of a condo or a room that's already cramped, you may need to reconsider the layout or look for a more compact manual alternative. Who should buy this? If you're a therapist who does a mix of Swedish, sports, and myofacial work, and you often need to change the table height between clients, the electric lift will feel like a time saver. It's also a good fit for practitioners who have clients with mobility issues. Being able to raise the table just enough for someone to slide on without strain is a real plus. The included accessories, like the headrest and bolster, make the setup feel complete straight out of the box, so you won't have to hunt for third-party add-ons. In a commercial spa where you have multiple tables and need to keep downtime low, the reliability of a motorized system can justify the higher price point. On the flip side, if you're just starting out, working out of a shared space, where you primarily do seated or chair-based work, you might not get enough return on investment to cover the cost. The table's weight around 250 pounds means you'll need at least 2 people to move it safely, which can be a logistical headache if you're constantly relocating. For mobile therapists who travel in a van, the size and weight could be a deal breaker, unless you have a dedicated vehicle with a lift gate. Let's get into the everyday nitty-gritty. During a typical 60-minute session, you'll have the client lie down, you'll position the headrest, and you'll slide the bolster into place. All of those steps take under a minute with this model because the adjustment knobs are well placed and the locking mechanisms are audible. When it's time to transition to the next client, you simply press the button, lower the table a few inches, and the client can roll off without you having to manually tilt the whole thing. That small convenience adds up, especially on days when you've got back-to-back appointments. Maintenance isn't a major concern either. The